Hello everybody and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I'm here tonight live on Monday. It is February 12th, 2024, and I'm here going over This Week in Astrology from February 12th all the way until February 18th. We have a lot going on this week. Astrologically speaking, we have a lot of planets on the move, and of course the moon is always doing something. If you are just joining me, go ahead and post your astrological sign below, your sun, your moon, your rising sign, where you're tuning in from. I love to hear that from everybody. And if you see me looking up and down, that is because I am co-recording for YouTube. I always post the replay after the fact, so if you can't join me live on Facebook, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, then you can always watch the replay on Facebook as well. So whatever platform you're you're into. Hey, Rita, Virgo in Colorado, you're my first commenter. Thank you for letting me know because I wasn't sure. Ashley Ann, good evening to you as well. Sagittarius Sun, Libra Moon, Taurus rising in Vermont. Welcome. Yeah, so we have a lot going on this week in astrology. How did everybody do last week? Hey, Almir, Taurus from Vermont, love that. Last week we had a lot of energy just on Friday. It seems like it was like so long ago, but on Friday we had the new moon, and that was on February 9th, 2024. We had the super new moon in Aquarius. How did everybody do with the new moon? We also had the lunar Chinese New Year, and if you celebrate that, I did post a really extensive kind of in-depth video on my YouTube channel. It was a YouTube exclusive, so if you guys are interested in watching that, it is posted over there, so you can always check it out. And please subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, because don't rely on the algorithm, because the algorithm's sneaky. Sometimes it'll show up and sometimes it won't. So you want to make sure that you subscribe. We had a lot of asteroids last week also. We had Pallas Athena moving into Sagittarius. We had Ceres moving into Capricorn. We had Vesta turning direct. She's no longer retrograde. So we had a lot of big energies last week. It seemed like every single, thing was, day last week was something. There was some big involvement last week. So I don't know if anybody felt that out there. Hey, Melinda, welcome. You had a hard time logging in. Yeah, I had a hard time starting the video. I'm not sure why. Ashley Ann, yeah, you said big day for you on Friday, but it was great. So that's good. Thank you. That's awesome. Ashley Ann said she loved the new Lunar New Year YouTube video. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So we have some more energies this week, including two big planets on the move. We have both Mars and Venus moving on, and Venus is our sensuality, Mars is our sexuality, both of them going into Aquarius. I'm going to pick up my calendar because I just dropped it. So that's big energies. Whenever we have, a bunch of planets moving, that is some big astrological energies going on. We also have a lunar thing. We always have moon stuff happening. Hey, Robin, welcome. Gemini Sun, welcome, welcome. And we have Valentine's Day. So I have a powerful Valentine's Day broadcast for you tonight. It's a doozy, we'll just say that. So if you're enjoying this video, like, share, comment below, tag a friend, do all the good stuff, because that's what gets the algorithm rolling. Monday today, actually February 11th and February 12th, Sunday and Monday, were both probably the two, especially Sunday, were the two most sort of quiet astrological days that we're going to have all month. Okay. So hopefully it was you guys somewhat got a quiet, sort of time to be able to take a breath and just breathe, because it's been a lot of energy. We've had a lot of onslaught of energy since January, really, since the new year began. We've had a lot, and we're going to continue this week as well. So I have some like good and bad news this week. So you want to make sure that you that you stay tuned. All right. So I'm going to start with tomorrow. Mars. Well, really, it's overnight between tonight and tomorrow. On February 13th, 2024, we have Mars moving into overnight between tonight and tomorrow, moving into Aquarius. Now that's going to happen at 1:05 a.m. Eastern time. If you're out on the West Coast, what is that? 11:05 p.m. tonight. Okay, so depending on where you are, it's moving, but pretty much as we move into the day tomorrow, mostly in the United States at least, or Canada if you live, it's going to be in Aquarius by then. So Mars moving into Aquarius is a whole new deal. Mars has been in conservative Capricorn all of this time for the last month and a half or so. Now it's moving into Aquarius, and we're going to have about another month and a half with Mars in Aquarius. Now, this happens every 2 years, roughly. Mars is in each sign every 2 years. So this is Aquarius's turn. And if you, have any Aquarius in your astrological chart, what house is it in? Because we all have Aquarius, I should say. We all have Aquarius, but what house is Aquarius in? Are you an Aquarian, or do you have Moon there? Or do you have Mars there? Do you have any of these things? Oh, Wendy, oh my goodness. Your natal Mars is at 1 degree Aquarius. Yikes. So that's a big, you're going to be hit with this energy right straight on. You're going to have your Mars return. If your Mars is in Aquarius, you're going to have your Mars return. And so that's Mars on Mars. That's basically what that means. It's not complicated. We always want to make everything complicated. What does it mean when it returns? Because it returns to where it is when you were born, natally speaking. And so Mars in Aquarius, think about Mars is our action, it's our motivation, it's our drive, it's our ambition, it's the thing that gets you up and running. Wherever Mars is natally in your birth chart is kind of how you act. It's sort of like the action steps. When you go into action, you behave like your Mars sign. That's basically what Mars does for us. I always say that the planets are kind of like different department heads in a company, and they each serve sort of its own purpose. And this is almost like gym time or something, because Mars is our vitality, physicality. It's our physicality. It is our sexuality. So it's kind of, Mars is often who we're sexually attracted to. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to work out and you're going to get married to that person. That's a different department. But this is like in between the sheets in the bedroom. That can be a Mars person. A lot of times you might like somebody with a Mars matching your sun sign, matching your Mars sign. Their sun sign matches your Mars sign. Or their Mars matches your Mars. I mean, Mars on Mars is it's very spicy. So we just went through Mars in Capricorn. Now we're going into Mars in Aquarius. And Mars in Aquarius is a much more cerebral, mental Mars. Okay, so if you think about Mars and how it behaves in an air sign, it goes heady. It goes up to, our brain, and it wants to sort of be smarty pants. So a lot of people who, one of the viewers tonight mentioned that they have Mars in Aquarius, so it's something that you might be attracted to, someone's brain, someone's knowledge, somebody's ability to be a thinker. It is a much more cerebral Mars. So this could be something that people call sapiosexual. I'm going to talk about this in a moment with Venus, but sapiosexual means you're turned on by somebody's intellect. And so that can be that Mars. Now, Mars in Aquarius has us fighting for something. If you think about this, Mars is going to be ruled by Uranus, because Uranus rules Aquarius. So this particular Mars likes to think outside the box. We like to operate in a different way, unique, quirky, individual. So where is Aquarius in your chart? And you'll know how this will affect you on a personal level. Somebody said 5th house. So 5th house is your area of children and love and creativity. So you'll have a nice little, kind of pick me up in that department. And so it just depends on where it is and what it's highlighting. Now, obviously, if you are an Aquarius, you will deeply be feeling this, because this is like in your, home, zone. But also you could be feeling this if you're a Leo. Okay. If you have any Leo in your chart. And if any of the other air signs get activated, so Geminis, Libras, you guys could be feeling this as well. This will put a little pep in your step. Now, if you are, let's say, an earth sign, this might challenge you a little bit. Mars in Aquarius might challenge you, because it's like a little bit, earth signs like to be a little bit more practical, and Aquarius likes to push the boundaries and think outside the box and do things differently. A lot of Aquarians I know like to just do things their own way. They're very individualistic, and they like to kind of walk to the beat of their own drummer, if you will. And that's basically what goes on. So we will have an opportunity to express our uniqueness. Now, we already have some planets there, don't we? We're in Aquarius season right now. The sun is there. We just had a big, and I did a broadcast a few weeks ago, and if you guys have any interest in watching it, all about Pluto being in Aquarius, that's on my channel as well. Pluto's in Aquarius right now. So we have a lot of planets, you know, kind of going through the Aquarian zone, and this is all kind of coming up for us. Talk about this Aquarius Mars. You know, this is about maybe being a nonconformist, fighting to make the world a better place. I always say Aquarius wants to make the world a better place. You know, kind of reaching out in society, changing the world, you know, fighting for animal rights, people rights, all kinds of humanitarian causes that can be. So if you ever had any aspirations in your life, in your chart, to do some Aquarian work, this is the time to do that for sure. Now, the people that Aquarius is associated with usually is friendships. Friendships is a big thing with Aquarius. It's kind of like who your tribe is, because Aquarius is the natural ruler of the 11th house, and the 11th house is in charge. That's the kind of the area where we find groups of people and friends. So I can't just talk about Mars here without mentioning who else is entering Aquarius this week, and that is Venus. Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. So on Friday, and that's going to be on February 16th, that's when we have Venus going into the realm of Aquarius as well. So that's going to happen at 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. That's Friday the 16th. And again, if you're out on the West Coast, it'll be 8:05 a.m. I can't do math when I'm trying to talk here, but that's basically we have Venus going into Aquarius as well. So here we have sensuality, how we express ourselves in a sensual way. And then we have Mars, which is a sexual, more passionate way. And we have both of them entering Aquarius. Now, they both just came from Capricorn, which I said was going to be all about the CEO and the boardroom and maybe a little workplace romance and kind of, you know, looking at our work and sort of being diligent. And so that was that. So I don't know how anybody else did in that way, but that's basically, that is kind of what we're doing now. So with Mars moving into Aquarius, Venus moving into Aquarius same week, yes, that means they're going to form a conjunction pretty soon, okay? And that's going to happen on Thursday, February 22nd at 2:14 a.m. Eastern time. So again, it's one of those overnight ones. So overnight on the West Coast on the 21st. So between the 21st and 22nd, Venus and Mars are going to be conjunct each other, which is like quite lovely. You know, when we think of that book, men are from Mars and women are from Venus, you know, that's kind of a nice sort of way of looking at it. You know, Mars is the masculine archetype. Venus is a feminine archetype. And so when those two come together, it's like yin and yang, you know, they sort of blend their energies together really nicely, and it can be quite lovely. But you know, I'm going to say except this week they meet with the Dark Lord, Pluto. And we know that Pluto just went into Aquarius. It's still 0 degrees Aquarius. So as soon as anything goes into Aquarius, boop, it hits Pluto. That's the first thing. So on Wednesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, Mars is going to form a conjunction with Pluto, and that's going to be 1:06 a.m. Eastern time. So again, overnight between Tuesday and Wednesday this week, we are going to have Mars forming a conjunction with Pluto. And then right after that, on Saturday, Venus is going to form a conjunction with Pluto, because Friday she enters Aquarius, and right away she immediately hits Pluto the next day, and that's 3:48 a.m. Eastern time on the 17th, on February 17th. So you can see how these are all intertwined. Usually, you know, if you guys been following me for a while, which many of you have, I go through the astrology day by day by day, but I can't really kind of do that right now because there's just so much intertwined with each other. They are all intermingling. Now, Venus in Aquarius, does anybody out there have Venus in Aquarius? I do. So I know this energy quite well. Venus in Aquarius, again, we're looking at outside the box love. Okay, now really, Mars is our action and our aggression and our passion and our sexuality, right? But Venus is pretty much love and love and love and love. And yes, creativity, and yes, finances. So when you have Venus in Aquarius, again, is outside the box with love. It's finding somebody that's different, either younger or older, culturally or religiously different from you, different background, maybe a different, they live outside of the US and you live in the US, whatever it is, where we're looking at somebody that's different, unique, special, unusual. And that's basically what Venus in Aquarius is attracted to. I mean, Venus in Aquarius tends to like somebody that's just a little bit different. Venus in Aquarius, I have talked about this in previous broadcasts, and I will just say it again. There's certain Venus signs that I call a bachelor and the bachelorette of the zodiac. Venus in Aquarius is one of them. Venus in Aquarius for sure is a bachelorette of the zodiac. Now, we have Venus sign is roughly about a month long, okay, each Venus sign, where Mars is about a month and a half long. So both of them are going to be swinging through at the same time in Aquarius. And this is the time of year to think about your friends, your groups of people you know. Yes, this is a Uranus ruled also romantic sign. So we have Venus is ruled by Uranus right now, basically. And so this is a good time. Uranus is the internet. This is a good time for dating apps. I will say that. Usually I'm like, put it on pause, wait. Mercury retrograde especially, we want to wait. But this time it's go, go, go. So this is a great time. Uranus is meeting somebody in a different or unusual way. So yeah, going on the dating apps. But it's also good for meeting people through friends, friend of a friend, groups of friends, social situations. Now, I don't know how many people are going out in February, but that is kind of what we are able to do right now. And Venus in Aquarius really likes to, remain single for a while or be in a situationship. If anybody has heard of that, situationship. I know a lot of Venus and Aquarius people that really long for love. They really want love. But it's a little hard for Venus in Aquarius. It is a really hard sign to sort of kind of settle down in. If you think of Oprah Winfrey, she is a Venus and Aquarius lady, and she's been with Stedman for many, 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 many years right now, but they've never been married. So there's always some kind of a hitch or a catch or something with Venus and Aquarius people. So if you have this natally, I think Melinda said she had this in her chart. You said me too. I think that was about that. Hey, Lori, welcome. Hey, Dodie, welcome. Yes, Ashley Ann, that's exactly what I mean. Bachelorette, not committed. Yep, that's exactly right. Yes, and Venus and Sagittarius is the other one. Oh, good. You've been having some dating luck on the dating apps lately. That's good. Melinda said yes. Okay, so me and Melinda have Venus and Aquarius, but the thing is that if Venus is currently transiting through Aquarius, where it means that we all have the flavor right now of Venus and Aquarius, that means that we are all going to have a little bit of this. It's universal love. And I talked about how astrologers have a big debate going on kind of, behind the scenes where they feel that a lot of astrologers feel that Valentine's Day is very much inappropriate for Venus Aquarius season because Aquarius is kind of known for being like more friends. But if you think of universal love, like I love you as a person, I love you as a human being, that's kind of, I think, what Valentine's Day is about. If you're looking for that deep one-on-one romantic personal love, we're looking at Pisces season. And so a lot of a lot of astrologers feel that Valentine's Day should have taken place during Pisces season. We can't argue that anymore. We weren't in charge of placing that. But I do think it's nice to think about universal love. One time I counseled a person, he had a Venus in Aquarius, and he came to me and he kept getting people that were annoyed with him as a partner. And he would tell these special ladies in his life that he was dating, he'd say, I love you. After like 2 weeks of dating them, and they'd say, oh my God, I love you too. And then when he would sort of pull away and be like, well, we just met, we're just dating, they get mad at him, right? Like, you're leading me on. You just said you loved me and I loved you. And he's like, no, I love you as a person. True story. And I had to work with him and counsel him that you can't do that because he's Venus in Aquarius. He probably feels that, yeah, I love you as a person. You're human on this planet with me, and I love you in a more universal way. That's how he meant it. And of course, when you're dating somebody, you're thinking, well, he loves me because, he thinks I'm amazing or special, or he's having true feelings for me. And so I had to counsel him and work with him, and to advise him, this is not, talking to the ladies like this is not going to help you if you don't really truly feel that way about specifically her. So that's a very Venus and Aquarius kind of dilemma, if you will. I always say in sessions, if I do a session with somebody with Venus and Aquarius, I always say we should develop a self-help group with all of us, Venus and Aquarius, and probably Venus and Sagittarius would be invited, as well as Venus in Gemini. Those are the ones that really have the hardest time. And Venus and Virgo have the hardest time that I see in my professional. I mean, I've been doing readings now for a very long time professionally, and even longer than that, just privately for friends. And those signs, those Venus signs, have a hard time getting that commitment if that's what you're looking for. So it is something that Venus and Aquarius is not great for. But what it is great for is, if you think about every single great romance, I think, but I'm Venus and Aquarius, so take that with a grain of salt, starts with friendship, right? That you like the person you're dating, not just that you're so in love with them and they're so amazing and all that, but do you actually just like them? Like, could you hang out with them? Are they your friend? And that's what we're looking for during this Mars and Venus cycle in Aquarius. Now, like I said, there's a hiccup here, and let's talk about that. Well, I want to talk about very quickly, tomorrow we also are going to have Venus is going to form a sextile. Venus still in Capricorn on Tuesday, February 13th, because remember, it changes on Friday. Venus in Capricorn is going to form a sextile with Neptune in Pisces on the 13th. That's going to happen at 8:36 a.m. Eastern time. Boy, I wish that one was on Valentine's Day. Venus and Neptune, oh, that's all the romance, that's all the fantasy, that's all the light the candles and I'll make you dinner, and it's very romantic. It's very much about the fantasy and creating all of this kind of stuff. I mean, that can be very, very much about that. So I wish that was actually on Valentine's Day itself, but that's a nice one. I mean, if you have an early Valentine's Day celebration, that could be fun. And that's love, that's fantasy, that's really good for creativity. Now, with Neptune, there's always a little bit of sort of sleepiness and kind of wanting to daydream and sort of play music and just drift off into outer space. That's a little bit about how Neptune operates. But otherwise, it can be really quite romantic and quite just like it is. It's like a little fantasy bubble that we can be in. And that would have been great if that was happening on Valentine's, but instead we have a really hard one on Valentine's Day. So that's coming tomorrow again on Tuesday, February 13th, 8:36 a.m. Eastern time is the peak of it. But we'll feel it, be feeling some of that today on Monday into Tuesday, and maybe a little bit on Wednesday. But really, what we have on Wednesday that's coming that I'm not looking forward to, and I'm already seeing a lot of stuff on the news, is Mars is going to form its conjunction with Pluto. So let's get to that. Mars usually, so when back in the day when Pluto was in Capricorn still, each time Mars came around every 2 years, while Pluto was in Capricorn since 2008, Mars has been forming a conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn, okay, all the way since 2008 to current time. This is the first time that it's going to be actually forming a conjunction with Pluto in Aquarius. So this is the very first time now that we've had a Mars in Aquarius cycle, okay, conjuncting Pluto, interacting with Pluto, because Pluto has not been in Aquarius since 1778 to 1798, okay, so none of us remember what we were doing back then because it was a really long time ago. So this is the first time we've had this conjunction taking place in Aquarius. Like I said, it does happen every 2 years. The last time it happened was March 3rd, 2022. The next time it'll happen is January 27, 2026. So you can see it's every 2 years or so. So this is hard. I'm just going to say Mars is the god of war and Pluto is the lord of the underworld. It's, he's Hades. He was kind of an ugly character. He was creepy crawly. He was dark. He was, sinister a little bit. And with Mars being the god of war that can really get fired up over things and be very passionate, but also be very angry and very aggressive, these two teaming up is not a good thing. Unfortunately, there's already been 2 mass shootings on the news this week. And if you're wondering what in the heck is going on, why all of a sudden there was Joel Osteen's church was just shot up by a shooter, a female shooter, which is interesting. And then there was just, before I was logging on, there was another shooting with 5 people involved or killed, I think. I don't know. But anyway, all the shootings, violence, uprisings, people doing stuff. This is that week. I'm sorry to say that. And it's happening on Valentine's Day. That's the peak of it. 1:06 a.m. Eastern time on Valentine's Day. Mars and Pluto are meeting up in the same sign in Aquarius. Overnight on Tuesday night, we'll feel, that'll be on the West Coast, the peak of it. So remember, when we walk up to this thing, it's like the maximum is the peak, and then we come down. So as we're coming into this time, we're gonna feel this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's like a week-long thing. Mars doesn't move that quickly. Pluto definitely doesn't move quickly. I think it's just sitting there. So it's really, really can be yucky. So what do you need to know about this? How can you navigate this? Now, it can be passion, just raw passion, okay? It can be getting excited about something, getting fired up about something, wanting to take up a cause, wanting to, get involved with something. It can give us a lot of that chutzpah and that energy. A lot of people will be like, I'll suddenly feel like working out and doing 100 sit-ups. Okay, that can be that energy. We need to utilize this physically, get it out of our system, go for a walk, go for a run, do whatever you do, hike and bike and swim and make love passionately. This is definitely spicy. But then it can tip very easily into that anger and that aggression. And I always say, it's not that everybody's going to feel angry and aggressive. It takes only 1 or 2 or 3 people to create chaos. And that's kind of what happens with these transits when Mars aligns with Pluto, and then all of a sudden we got a lot, and the waves start to ripple outwards. So if somebody is struggling with mental health, struggling with addiction, struggling with anger issues already, that's going to just push people over the edge. So if you know that somebody is very incendiary and very volatile, you might want to stay away from them. This is not the time to have a debate at work about politics and religion and the news. And, this is not the time to be confrontational, because it's just going to take a little, it's like almost like we're just lighting matches carelessly around a gasoline tank. It's just going to be like, poof, suddenly. So we want to really watch right now with how we're dealing with things and how we're choosing to utilize our energy. Now, we might have a case of the grumpies. That can happen too, just where we're just, irritated and grumpy. I did not hear about that. That is crazy. Ashley Ann said Larry David violently attacked Elmo. I didn't even hear about that on the Today Show. That is really weird. That's strange. So anyway, yeah, there's like weird stuff that can happen like this that is like just volatile, and we don't need any of that. So use caution while you're driving. Use caution while you're talking to that person that can already be a little bit, spicy and grumpy and weird and, all that kind of stuff. We want to sort of watch that. Now, to utilize it properly, we want to go for a walk. We want to, get it out of our system. If you feel this is not the time I would say probably in life, 90% of life is well dealt with when we meditate, when we pray, when we ask for guidance. I think meditation is the key to a lot of things. But when this type of spicy energy comes, it's actually the time to move your body and to be active, because otherwise anything that's kind of pent up, if you have to punch a pillow and scream into the pillow, that's this type of energy. It's the type of energy to let that out, because if it's bottled up, it's festering and it's angry. Now, Mars is going to be in Aquarius. Remember, that's our physicality. And then Venus is in Aquarius as well. Aquarius's body part is our ankles. It's our calves, our shins, like the lower part of the leg. It is the ankles. And it's also the veins. So if you think about the sort of blood circulation through the body, okay, we think about veins. So we want to watch that area of our body, especially while Mars is in Aquarius, because that can be a thing, that's our physicality. Mars is kind of how we physically act. And so that is, can affect us. So if you have any medical issues dealing with those areas of the body, the ankle, the shins, the calves, and then also veins, think about blood circulation, blood clots, it could get dangerous, some of those blood circulation issues. So we want to make sure that we have, good physicality with that, especially since Mars is being tested by Pluto, right, as it walks into the door. So it's going to be a little spicy this Valentine's Day. Luckily, at 10:02 a.m. Eastern time on Valentine's Day of this year, the moon will move out of Aries and go into Taurus. That could help us just a little bit at 10 a.m. But while this thing is coming up, since Monday morning to this morning into that time, the moon is in Aries, and then we have this thing behind the scenes. Aries is ruled by Mars. So I don't want to get too complicated or too much in the weeds, but do you hear what I'm laying down? It's going to be spicy these next 48 hours, 72 hours. So really just kind of watch, lay low. This is not the time to say, oh, honey, I want to talk to you about this thing that really irritates me, because it's going to go south really quickly. Just like downhill. And I like to use these forewarned is forearmed. It's not to be afraid of. It's not to be, feeling like, overwhelmed. It's just to help us to be able to anticipate that the global energy, the collective energy, is just a little bit more volatile right now. Now, we do have another nice transit coming on Thursday. That's February 15th, where Mercury is going to form a positive sextile with Chiron. Mercury is also in Aquarius. I forgot to even say that. Mercury's in Aquarius too. So we have so much Aquarius right now. Anybody got Aquarius out there and with planets, you're really going to be feeling this head on. Even if that's an empty blank area of your chart, you're going to be, with 5 planets there, it's going to be a lot of energy. So Mercury in Aquarius is going to form a positive sextile with Chiron, the wounded healer. Chiron is definitely going to be helpful to help heal some of these ruffled feathers that are going on. That's Thursday at 8:17 a.m. Eastern time. Mercury is talking. Chiron is healing some wounds, or maybe it's an apology coming, or I'm sorry, I wasn't meaning to be grumpy pants. I was having a bad day. That's that kind of thing. We could be healing with our words. Okay, guys, you think Mercury is not just our verbal words, orating words, but it also could be, texting or emailing or, whatever our words, and saying, hey, I misunderstood, or whatever the thing is. And that's coming on Friday or Thursday. So that'll be a nice little spot in the week. Thursday is a little more chill, I guess, in some ways. And then we even get into Friday. Friday has a lot of energy too. And so we did have, like I said, we have that Venus moving into Aquarius on Friday, 11:05 a.m. Eastern time. That's Friday, February 16th. We also have the second quarter new moon, the second quarter lunar cycle. I call it the second chance new moon. And this time the sun is going to be in Aquarius and the moon is going to be in Virgo. That's on Friday. Anybody out there, Virgo, you will be affected by this. Or like I said, Aquarius is, yes, Almir said, don't leave the house. Exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, phew, Ashley Ann said, glad about Chiron. Exactly. Glad about Chiron being thrown into there, because at least it helps us to kind of smooth over some of those ruffled feathers. Okay, so when we get into this second chance new moon, remember the new moon was just last week. If you forgot to write out your new moon manifestation list, this is the day you could do it. This is where the sun and the moon square each other. The peak or the height of it is going to be at the very end of Virgo, 27 degrees Virgo. So if you're born toward the end of Virgo, you will be feeling this, or if your moon's in Virgo, especially, you'll be feeling this. It'll be happening at 10:01 a.m. Eastern time. And this is where, again, it's a little confusing, where we call it the quarter moon, but if you look in the sky, it's a half a moon. So we're halfway between the last new moon and the next full moon. The next full moon is coming on Saturday. It's going to be the snow moon, and that's going to be on February 24th, 2024, 22424. So that's interesting numerology, right? And that'll be in Virgo, that particular half moon. And so we have the kind of, we're reevaluating something during that time. It's the time where, again, the farmer planted the seeds during the new moon, the half moon. We're going to water the plants. We're going to assess, does it need more nutrients or soil or whatever, more sunlight. So we're reassessing something with our goals, our dreams, our aspirations. Aquarius and Virgos are very different. We'll just say that. That's why they're squaring each other, because it's a difference. There's a difference there. Virgo wants to really think about all the little tiny details, and Aquarius wants to look more at the bigger picture and come up with like a bigger global kind of plan. So it's good news if we can get these two on the same page, because that'll help us to look at the global plan and also look at the little details. Yay, Rosalie, 50 stars. It's my first stars of the evening. I think, I don't know if that's from your grandson, but thank you so much. Ashley Ann said you did a new moon ceremony, but you forgot to write it down. Okay, so write yourself a note on Friday. You can write out your new moon manifestation list then. Hey, Kelly, welcome. No worries. You said you're a little late tonight. You're just in time. Perfect time. So that is the second chance. And then even on Friday evening at 10:53 p.m. Eastern time, we have Mercury forming a square with Uranus. So these two, Mercury square Uranus at the end of the week on Friday night, that's kind of yucky. Mercury, again, is in Aquarius. Uranus is in Taurus. So if you're a Taurus or an Aquarius, you're going to be feeling this. But this can cause a little bit of anxiety. This can cause a little bit jitters. Now, if anybody out there has problems with your electrical system of your body, migraine headaches, palpitations, spasms, muscle tremors, any kind of thing like that, you might see an increase or a flare up of those symptoms during this time. So just a heads up. And I'll tell you, Mercury square Uranus can be anxiety, and it can be a little bit, it could even feel a little bit like a Mercury retrograde kind of. So that is something that we have to kind of keep an eye out for. This can be when weird things happen, unexpected weird things, because Uranus is that and Mercury is Mercury, so that can feel a little bit funky, especially with technology, electronics, cell phones, any kind of thing with communication. There could be a misunderstanding of communication. That's Friday night. It's like how we're ending the week, so that's a little bit weird. And then remember, we're not out of the zone with Pluto yet, because the next day on Saturday, that's when Venus is moving up to Pluto. So remember, on Valentine's Day, we had Mars conjunct Pluto. Well, now Saturday, we have Venus conjunct Pluto. Venus is going to be conjunct Pluto on February 17th at 3:48 a.m. Eastern time. So 12:48 a.m. if you're out on the West Coast, overnight between Friday and Saturday. And boy, it's going to be powerful. I mean, this is power. This is power in love. And now we have power dynamics at play. Yes, this can be spicy. Yes, this can be passionate. Yes, this can be very moving and primal feeling. And it's giving, normally Aquarius Venus is a little bit more detached and a little bit more cerebral, like I said, and but now with the inclusion of Pluto, this is more spicy. This gets into the raw, passionate. This can be jealousy. This can be obsessions, possessions. Ooh, like I want to consume you. You know, I mean, that can be very hot and heavy. So if you're not ready for all of that the dark side, exactly. I was just going to say that, Almir, dark side of love. Yeah. I mean, this could be the stuff. And so, yeah, we need to care, but not care that much. I mean, it's just too much, you know? So we need to have a little bit more objectivity, which usually Aquarius is known for. Objectivity, detachment, you know, being able to look at things in that more global perspective, kind of, you know, impartiality, you know, but not with Venus in Pluto, and not with Mars and Pluto either. So, oh my gosh, they are just going to be right on top of each other. So we got a lot of spiciness coming, and definitely anybody out there jealous, if you have a lot of jealous stuff in your chart or in your nature, you might struggle with this. So you want to take a little step back. Oh, Rosalie Jackson and your family moved to Florida. Oh, well, I hope you get to see them soon. Oh, Kelly, you may have a second date on Friday. Well, it's spicy. It's going to be very spicy. Yeah, I think we've all had a Pluto conjunct Venus relationship. Kelly said she had a Venus conjunct Pluto relationship. I think we've all had that. And then we kind of realize that, you know, that's the unhealthy side of love, you know, when we're talking about, you know, all that, like, oh, I got to control and manipulate and I don't know, all that stuff. It's just too much. Ugh, yucks. Yucky, yucky. Okay, big news also is we have the sun on Sunday, on February 18th, 2024. We have the sun moving into Pisces. We start Pisces season. So even though all these planets are finally entering Aquarius, the sun is going to leave Aquarius next Sunday on the 18th. And that's going to happen at 11:13 p.m. Eastern time. So really at the end of the day on Sunday, right before we start the new week, and we're going to start Pisces season. And so I'm going to cover a little bit of this tonight, and I'll go over it again a little bit next week because it's so on the border between the weeks, and I like to give you guys, like, you know, just that heads up and the perspective. But Pisces season is going to start. That's the first planet in Pisces. We've had Neptune in Pisces forever, but it seems like, that's the first planet this year to enter into the Pisces zone. So we'll get to have that imaginative and the romantic and all of those types of things. When we talk about Pisces, it's a little bit more of a softer energy. It is a water sign, and we get into the feelings and the emotions and all that. Right now, we're very just cerebral. And still a part of us is going to be cerebral because we have all these Venus and Mars and everything else in Aquarius. That's a little more detached. Now all of a sudden it's personal. When we get into Pisces season, it gets to be personal and warm and squishy, and we want to feel all the feels, and we want to be romantic and all that kind of stuff. It's a very creative time. Pisces, as you know, is ruled by Neptune, the god of the ocean. You know, Neptune was associated with Poseidon. And so we have that. So it'll give us all of a sudden a little bit more of a personal lens when we sort of get involved with Pisces season. That'll give us a more personal lens. So if there's Pisces out there, if you have Pisces in your chart and any planets in Pisces, then you will definitely feel that. And that'll be happy birthday to all the Pisces out there. I don't know if anybody has a Pisces in their life that's special to them, but we'll be in that birthday zone. Yay, Pisces, Kelly said with a heart. So if anybody has any questions, just to recap, and you might want to type questions as I'm recapping, it's very busy this week. We have a lot of Venus and Mars going into Aquarius. We have Mars going to be conjunct, Mars is going into Aquarius on Tuesday, Venus on Friday, and then Mars will be conjunct Pluto on Wednesday, and then Venus will be conjunct Pluto on Friday. And then in the mix, in the middle there, we also have the second chance new moon. So we're going to be reevaluating something that's also coming on Friday the 16th, February 16th. So we have a lot of energy this week, a lot of passion, a lot of Pluto, and also this is the first time that Pluto's conjuncting Venus. So it's the first time ever since Pluto has been in Aquarius all the way since the 1700s, the first time that Pluto is forming a conjunction with Venus and Mars in Aquarius. So that is, you know, we're in for this is the new flavor. And now we're really getting a full we're starting to get more of a fuller picture of what this Pluto in Aquarius is going to be like as it starts to get stress tests and intermingle with planets. And now we're really going to be starting to step into, okay, what is this Pluto really about? And we'll start to learn that as we go. Yay. Yes, we'll try Bumble, what Kelly said. Oh, that's awesome. Yes, Wendy said, any insight into a possible meeting of a new romantic functional relationship in the near future? Well, like I said, Wendy, definitely right now, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, this is a Uranus time. Dating apps are a really good way. Before the pandemic, and just to remind you guys, I am a dating and relationship coach. I'm a life coach, but I'm also a dating and relationship coach. Statistically speaking, before the pandemic, 60% of people met through friends. And now, since the pandemic, 60% of people meet through online dating. Yes, all of us hate online dating. I don't know anybody that has ever contacted me going, you know, I just love online dating. Nobody likes online dating. It's just a thing. But there are apps out there that are a little bit more functional. And I know a lot of people say I don't have any luck on the dating apps. It just takes one person to enter the dating app. I see my clients get marriages. Now, I'm not talking about hookups. I'm not talking about trysts. I'm not talking about, and this is in the Northeast here in New England. It might be different wherever you're living and where you're watching, because this is advice for Wendy, but also general advice if you're looking, single and looking. I do still see the most amount of marriages come from Match.com. I have not seen any produced yet from my client base from Bumble, though I do see a lot of people that meet people on Bumble, but I haven't seen a marriage just yet. But Match.com is really the one that I have seen the most amount of marriages come from. Yeah, can you meet someone on any of those apps? Sure, absolutely. You know, I mean, it's something that it's a numbers game and you're looking for just one person. And so, yeah, I get it. The other thing is, because we're in that Venus and Aquarius time frame, is getting introduced through friends and family. You know, and reminding people in your life that you're single. You know, a lot of times friends forget, they're busy, they're not necessarily thinking about your dating life and they get busy. But if you have like, let's say, a wedding to go to, say, hey, do you know any single guys that you could sit at my table? Or, you know, groom's, you know, brother or husband or somebody, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But like somebody that maybe a friend or you know them, you can always just say that to a friend and say, hey, you know anybody? And that can be something. Yes, Ashley Ann said you like the Facebook dating. I haven't had any clients yet get married from that, but I have had clients meet people through there. Yes. All right. So Wendy, what do you need to know about your love life? What does Wendy need to know? Oh, honey, you got the Hermit card, right? That was the first card that came out. We already know that. Let's go deeper into it. Yeah, you're like, I could write the book on the Hermit card, right? Oh my goodness. You got a lot of cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards of nothing's happening, and the 6th card finally is a change, which means it's a long period of time before you're meeting anybody that's coming in that's special. Now, 6 cards doesn't necessarily mean 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years. It just means it's a long, like I had to keep pulling cards to get to a good card. So that's what that means. So I would say, I don't know why, but I feel like a good month for you is around, it feels very warm to me. So it feels like July or August. I'm feeling something in that time. You got to make it a priority too, you know? I mean, look, after a while, it gets really like monotonous and tiring when you're on dating apps constantly. You got to make it a priority. Archangel Metatron, focus on your highest priorities. I will help you to get organized and motivated when it comes to love. Okay. So it's something that you're going to have to prioritize, make it like a job, a part-time job. It is hard. And especially us, ladies really like to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, but this is a numbers game. You got to get through these fast. So meet for coffee, 1 hour or less. And you want to just kind of keep going. They call it dating open houses, where you can actually, I don't know if you're into this, but I'll just say this as a dating coaching. They call them dating open houses, where you literally book somebody for 12 for 1 p.m. and then 2 p.m. back to back. You sit at a restaurant and you just kind of next. And you kind of do that sort of thing. So you gotta make time for it. And it gets hard and it's monotonous, and sometimes it's really disheartening is a good word, when you're on the apps and you just meet one person that's, not right for you after another. It's really, really difficult. But you have to make it a priority as well. So you do have love coming, but it feels like it's out there and it feels like it's summertime related. Kelly. I'll pull a card for Kelly. Oop. Wow. I can't show this card on camera because it's a little, but this is Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. Now she is, Kelly, she doesn't necessarily mean that she's permanent love. But she's something's romantic there. There is a little chemistry there between you and this person. This, though, came out in addition to it, which is, it literally looks like a child's hand and a big authoritative hand. The message on the card is submission, caution. This sometimes can be life circumstance that could be a little bit hard to get together. Like maybe you have kids and they have kids and it's hard to line up your schedules, or that person travels for work and you don't, and that's hard to, so there's something a little bit hard to kind of get it to fit in together. I'm going to pull another card for you, Kelly. There's a tryingness, I think, that has to come with this. You got a lot of active cards, Kelly. It's saying you're being protected. Archangel Michael came out. You are safe. So I don't know. I mean, I'm feeling like there is something with this person, but it might be hard to just get together. I was just saying today in a session, or earlier, I should say, in a session, that there's more to romance than just love. Love is a component, but there's trust, there's timing, there's, there's all kinds of things that we have to kind of, like we can love each other, but there's other things that come into play that kind of can, make or break a couple. And I feel like it might be something else, not necessarily your feelings about each other, but life circumstances in some way. But have fun. Give it a shot. Let it play out. I like him. All right. Yeah, see, even this card, claircognizance, came out, Kelly. Archangel Uriel, which, by the way, is the archangel associated with Aquarius. Pay attention to thoughts, ideas that come to you. They're answers to your prayers. So your angels are giving him guidance. Or giving you guidance about him, is what I meant to say. Hope that helps. Hi, Juliet. Thank you so much. 100 stars. Yay. Thank you. Star party. So I hope that helps everybody. I am going to pull a card. What do I need to know? I just dropped my angel cards. Kelly. Oh, you said, oh, that's good. Him or someone else. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Him or someone else. I don't know what you mean. What I was saying is life circumstances might come into play between the two of you. I don't know if that answers that. Yay! Hey, Noel. Welcome. Leo, she said. We have so many people are commenting on dating. It's a lot of dating questions. Well, it's Valentine's. It's the Valentine's Day broadcast. It's an intense Valentine's Day. Yeah. See, that's good. You felt it deep for a second. I would play it out. I would let it play out. It just feels a little bit like there might be something outside of the two of you. Doesn't even feel like the two of you. It feels like something outside, like a work or kids or something. Somebody that it's hard to connect, like bring it, kind of get it to come into landing. It's okay. Give it a shot. Everything's a learning experience, right? All right. So what do we need to know? Oh my goodness. Such a lot of stuff. Okay. Venus, Mars going into Aquarius. We have the conjunctions with Pluto, with Mars and Venus in Aquarius. We have the second chance new moon. So what do we need to know about all of that? What do we need to know about all of that? We're getting the card on motivation and nurture yourself. How about self-love? Like not even looking for love outside of us, but self-love. We got the card of motivation and nurture yourself. Okay, I don't know if you can see here on YouTube as well. Motivation, pray for guidance as to how to increase your enthusiasm for and focus on whatever you're working on, whatever project you're working on. It doesn't have to be actual work. I know the word motivation sounds like work, but when we think about Mars is our motivation, our drive, our ambition, our what we need to, you know. And I have a favorite saying, and I always say this all the time. It is energy flows where attention goes. So where is your attention in your life? Energy flows in that direction where your attention is going in that direction. If you're thinking kind of more on a negative thought, okay, this isn't going to work out, this has problems, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. That's putting energy, and then the energy will flow in that direction. So I always say worry is like praying for what you don't want. Okay, so if you're thinking about wanting to have love life, wanting to have career, wanting to have a good family, like whatever thing it is, we have to put our attention, but yet in a positive way toward that thing. If we're thinking about dating, because we're talking a lot about dating tonight, let's face it, with Valentine's Day and Venus and Mars. If you're thinking about dating, if you're thinking like there's no good men or women in this area, whatever area it is, okay, or all the good ones are taken, or, you know, if you're thinking about it in that way, you know, people, you can't trust them anymore, and that's all negative. That's a negative faith. So you want to cancel clear on that and go into a positive faith. It just means that you're one, you know, you have one person that you're just trying to find. You're not trying to find 400. It's just one person. So it's something that we want to be able to have a positive faith for, and really think in a positive way. Like people, there is somebody out there that is trying to find you if you are single and you're looking, because your frequency, now that person might be wherever. They might be in your town, they might be, you know, over the border in the next state over, whatever it is, but that frequency, the right person will match with that frequency and come in on that. So you want to make sure your frequency is cleaned up, because listen, if you're just attracting this and this and this after one after another, that means it's yucky. You know, I mean, the frequency there might be something in us that is, and look, it's easy to get down if you're single. It's easy to get down when you're on dating app and you're swiping, and you're not really clicking with somebody. It's hard. It's hard on a dating app. I always say we have to smell each other. You know, we have to be in person. We have to smell each other. We have to have that frequency. Meeting on a dating app is fun, but it doesn't replace being in person. We have to have that, you know, that one-on-one in-person connection. That's really what makes us fall in love and all that good stuff. So remember that you want to program the frequency. Okay, there's someone out there looking for me that I'm looking for, and please bring them to me so that we can have our life together and have it be positive. And you might have to kiss a little couple frogs before you get there, and that's okay too. It's part of the process, part of the learning curve. You know, people sometimes approach it with a lot of like disdain, or like, oh God, you know, I don't want to do this. This is awful. It's horrible. You know, cancel clear, because that's the frequency you're emitting, and whoever's out there is going to try to line up with that frequency. So if it's a down, low, depressed frequency, that's who you're going to attract in. So you want to be careful with that. I hope that helps everybody. So we have motivation, and then nurture yourself too. Take care of yourself and your frequency, right? Invest time in self-care now will yield more energy for you later. So if we're talking about frequency, this, by the way, is good for money. This is good for work. This is good for all kinds of things. So we want to make sure that we nurture ourselves, have our good frequency. And we have a little challenge this week with Pluto. So we want to really nurture ourselves and take good care of ourselves during this high frequency, volume, everything's kind of heightened, I would say. It's not a high light frequency, it's a heavy frequency, but it's turned up. Everything's turned up a little right now. So we want to take care of ourselves during that process and love ourselves, and not taking it so personally. If you don't line up with somebody, it's not personal, and they don't line up with you, it's not personal. Moving on, just quickly. You got to quickly go through, move on. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Mwah, mwah, mwah. If you like to have these recordings, please make sure that you like my page, my Facebook page, and my YouTube page for these types of content to come into your news feed. And also, if you're thinking about having a personalized astrological session, please feel free to give me a call. Text message is perfect, and or sliding through my DMs, or email, whatever way that you are able to reach me. And I really love all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and you're able to take all this with a grain of salt as far as the energies go, and keep it positive and feel the love for you, your loved ones, and humanity. All right, everybody. Nighty night. Namaste.